being able to grow up with an older brother than you, you always have that competitive nature and you always have that sibling rivalry. Really, to be able to go out there and try to outdo Kurt and everything that I possibly could was something that I wanted to do.
Since the age of 13, Kyle Busch had been a racer, but still a student.
The kids have to develop a college budget, dorm prices, book prices, tuitions. Then they have to counterset that with their summer earnings, mom and dad's paychecks, school loans and scholarships. So Kyle asked for some help with it, and I went back to help him on his finances. And I happened to notice that his summer earnings were $123,000. And I found that comical, since I think I made $3,000 that summer.
I was kind of questioning my mom, because she worked in a school district, about what exactly I needed to do in order to graduate a year early. I wanted to get done with school.
I made Kurt go to college. I said, you have to go to college. And then Kyle said from day one, I'm not going to college. And I go, oh, yeah, you are. And he goes, no, I'm not going to college. Well, you didn't.
I'm in a sport that isn't school related. There's a lot of kids in football, basketball, baseball, that kind of thing. It just wasn't something that necessarily completely attracted my attention. Racing was always there for me.
He knew that he was going to get out of here because of his brother. He knew that there was an opportunity for him as well to be successful in the world of racing.
Going to school, it was a little bit different because I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't hang out with a bunch of people. Not that I was, I don't know, I guess a loner at school, but...
He was in a world of his own. He wasn't in the high school world. He was in a very adult world when he was a kid.
I had to make sure I had everything done on Thursday and, through the week, so then on Friday we'd have to be out at the racetrack. And as soon as my school was over, I'd hurry up and try to get out to the racetrack as quick as I could so I wouldn't miss too much practice. And then, we had a race every Friday night.
Still just a high school junior, Kyle received a call from his big brother's employer, Jack Roush. At 16 years old, he was invited to race in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
I probably didn't know I was going to race cars until my brother made it to the Truck Series. As soon as he made it there, I figured, you know what, if he can do well here, then he can probably have a shot to move up the ladder, and of course my name would get recognized. So
I got a phone call from Max Jones, who's at Roush Racing, and he said, we want to test Kyle in the truck. And I'm going, you got to be kidding me. And I said, he's only 16. He goes, yeah, I know. And he said, but we know he's got the talent. We know he's, he'll do fine. What do you think? And I'm going, I don't know. I said, he's just too young. And a truck, come on, I mean, that's just too big. That's just too fast.
They gave me a call and were like, hey, do you want to do any truck races this year? And it's like, well, you're not going to say no.
So you'd go to a half mile and test, and if you were good enough, they'd take you to the 1.5 miles at Joliet, Illinois, Chicagoland. Biff would shake the truck down, and there were 2 other drivers, so there was 3 finalists. And Biffle said, I've got to make the airport, you guys are on your own. And they told Kyle to put his fire suit on, and I was just like, I'd never been so scared in my life. And he just aced it. I mean, he was just, it's no big deal.
Kyle signed on with Roush Racing in summer 2001, but the move reintroduced 2 familiar problems: racing in the shadow of Big Brother and questions about his age.
This young man in the 99 is the younger brother of Kurt Busch. He is Kyle Busch, who is 16 years, 3 months, and 1 day of age.
After I had my first race at IRP, where I ended up 9th, and my 6th race was going to be at California Speedway. We went there, NASCAR pulled me in a trailer and says, hey man, we're sorry, but we can't let you race today. And I was like, well, why? What did I do? Am I too fast? Do I need to slow down? I mean, what's the problem here? And they were like, well, we've had some things come up that we weren't necessarily aware of before the weekend started with Marlboro sponsoring the race weekend there. It was a factor that a 16-year-old was participating in a tobacco-sponsored event, essentially. So I had to sit out that race, and they assured me that everything was going to be fine and they were going to get it all worked out. I was going to be able to race the following year.
I think it hit us all really pretty hard. It was pretty devastating. It was, I think it really affected him really hard. But, when you're at that level, and then in order to go back down, it just, he felt that everything was taken away from him, because of the age.
To me nowadays, I understand a little bit better, and I think it was probably a good thing the route that NASCAR went, And you know, it helped me out more so than it probably could have in order to get me some more seat time in another series, to get me some extra experience before I was able to take to the upper levels.
Kyle's next career move stunned the sport. He would leave Roush Racing for rival Hendrick Motorsports, NASCAR's version of leaving the Boston Red Sox for the New York Yankees. He would race in the rugged ARCA series until he turned 18, then make his return to NASCAR.
The move from Roush to Hendrick was to get out of the shadow of my brother a little bit. It helped me in order to try to make my own person. You know, Kurt came into the sport, he was Kurt Busch. Now Kyle, Kurt's younger brother, is coming into the sport. It's like, I don't want that title on my name. It meant a lot for me to have such support behind me. I had great support from Mr. Hendrick himself, as well as Ricky.
With a liberated spirit and a racing life of his own, Kyle attacked the NASCAR Busch Series in 2004 and returned to victory lane.
Kyle Busch scores his first Busch Series win. 2 wins in the last 3 races for Kyle Busch and the Lowe's Chevrolet.
There was a lot that I learned that year in 2004 with all the fans, with the media, with everything that takes place for a full-time season in NASCAR competition. There was 35 races, I believe, that year. It was neat to be able to learn everything that I did that year with the race cars, but the biggest thing was the challenges and everything that was outside the racing and off the racetrack.
His maturity on track was swift. His maturity off it came at a greater cost.
The FAA reported they lost contact with a Hendrick Motorsports airplane inbound for Martinsville earlier today.
In October 2004, 10 members of the Hendrick Motorsports family were killed in a plane crash, including Kyle's friend and mentor, Ricky Hendrick.
Well, the Hendrick Motorsports tragedy was definitely one of the worst things that I had had to go through my entire life.
To see my little brother struggle so bad, being so close to Ricky Hendrick, and him being a car owner for Kyle, I had to put that mentor role on and try to help him get through it, not knowing exactly what to say and what to do.
Ricky Hendrick and I were tremendously close, and it was a great relationship that we had built between each other. I'd call him up and rat him out about things and bust his butt on stuff and things like that, where he would do the same thing to me, because I always went to Ricky for stuff. You know, I never really went to Rick, you know, but now I'm going to Mr. H and, you know, calling him a lot more and talking to him.
But in the midst of pain came a moment to celebrate.
Kurt Busch is the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion.
Only 4 weeks after Ricky's death, Kurt was crowned as the 2004 Nextel Cup champion. For one day, there was no sibling rivalry, no tension, only a celebration shared by brothers.
I'd had enough of watching the race. After his tire fell off, I said, you know what, I'm done watching this thing. So I was fishing out the back pond. I was tossing my reel, reeling some in and stuff like that, and having a good time with that. And then all of a sudden it comes down to the last 5 laps, and then I was trying to figure out, okay, who's going to win the championship? So I made it out to the front straightaway where the victory celebration was going on for my brother for the championship, and I was actually able to I was the first one to his window, and he was unbelievable. You know, he just couldn't believe himself that he was able to do it. Your life just kind of flashes by your eyes real quick as you're watching this. It's like, holy cow, where did we come from? We're from Las Vegas. This isn't supposed to happen to us. It was a pretty neat experience for the both of us, and we'll cherish that for a long time.
8 years after leaving Las Vegas, Kurt's big moment had arrived. Kyle's was just around the next turn. The Busch brothers have taken sibling rivalries to a new high-speed level.
New race leader is Kyle Busch. And who did he pass to get the lead?
Yeah, there he is. It's easier passing your brother than others.
Now that they have all this experience and they are talented, I love watching them racing side by side. I know they're safe. I know they're okay. They're not next to someone else, you know, where they might slip.
His entire life, Kyle has been pushed to one-up Kurt's amazing career timetable. He did so once again by joining the Nextel Cup Series in 2005 at the age of 19. He soon bettered Kurt again, becoming the youngest race winner in NASCAR history at 20 years and 4 months old.
The headlines will say Busch won at California.
Here it is.
But it'll be Kyle Busch.
Get it, get it, get it.
Kyle Busch wins at California.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch is the youngest winner in the history of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series.
My nerves are already through the roof.
You know that, right? Youngest driver to win the next.
Did we break it?
Yeah.
3 days? Little did I know that the first win, I was 3 days prior to that youngest winner mark, and they told me that in Victory Lane. I'm like, no way, we beat it. That's awesome. The record stood for 52 years.
There's a lot of guys who have raced from when that record was made and to when we broke it, that we did something they didn't do, and I'm very proud of Kyle for that.
We got our first win. It was unbelievable just to have the emotions finally set in and everything else. I mean, I was so nervous at the end of that race. I couldn't even see hardly going down the straightaway, let alone through the corners. So it was pretty tough on me, and all my nerves were shot after that race. And I was just glad it was over and glad to be able to get out and have our first win out of the way.
His quick success has led to sudden stardom. In 2005, he made an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show. His ease at the podium also led to a role as a presenter at CMT's Country Music Awards. Despite the perks, his focus remains singular: winning races.
Kyle Busch brings it off a turn 4, his second win of the season. Kyle Busch wins at Phoenix.
That's it, right there.
And that's what we did at Phoenix. We came from 2 laps down, came from adversity, came from the back. Everything didn't go our way, and we still won the race. So I'm most proud of that. The toughness that we've been trying to get to, we think we finally got there at Phoenix.
But the celebration is overshadowed by questions about a familiar and frustrating topic: Big Brother Kurt. Kurt was arrested and charged with reckless driving less than 48 hours before Kyle's win. And that is all the media wants to talk about.
I just want to say that I'm behind my brother 100%.
It is the story of Kyle Busch's racing career. Amazing success achieved in the shadow of Kurt's headlines. 2005 ended with 2 victories and yet another besting of Big Brother, winning Rookie of the Year honors, an award Kurt narrowly missed in 2001. Kyle's future is now, and now he works to ensure the future for other young Las Vegas dreamers, like Alex Haas, son of an old rival and a mirror image of a young Kyle Busch.
Being able to work with a younger driver is something that I've wanted to do, and I helped Alex for a little bit. He was racing Bandoleros. I tried to teach him some things, and when he got to Legends, I tried to help him out because I was getting into some super late models. So I tried helping him out as much as I could. He's a good kid, and I wanted to see how I could do as an owner, whether or not I was going to be a decent enough owner where I could, help somebody out in their career and stuff like that. And he had a fun time with it.
Throughout his life, he's been called too young, too inexperienced. But Kyle Busch isn't on anyone's schedule but his own. A schedule that will include a NASCAR Nextel Cup Championship, a title that will hopefully happen in the next 5 years, comfortably ahead of Kurt's.
It's just all about being consistent. That's what the championship's all about. If you can make the chase, that's excellent. Then you've got a good shot at being able to win a championship, but then you've got to be extra consistent in the last 10 races, not necessarily going out for wins, but maybe top 5s in order to rack up the points for the championship.
Kyle Busch, driven to prove others wrong, driven to beat Big Brother, driven to win.
This is the Biography Channel.
You want to be yourself, but you're not allowed to be yourself.
This is the Biography Channel.
I was just beside myself with anger and disappointment.
This is the Biography Channel.
I'm the only actress he knows you have to pay to keep your clothes on.
Reality meets personality, only on the Biography Channel.
Biography Channel. What a